good evening. I know it's just kind of out of the blue after the movie. So, my name is Vahid Garusi. I'm an academic member in the University of Calgary in engineering. So, I'm also the co-chair of the Lake-Urmia Conservation Institute. So, I think we have quite a short time, about 15-20 minutes, to essentially answer any questions about the lake. I guess my friend, my colleague, Dr. Najafi gave a good presentation, a light brief on the status in the Lake-Urmia, which is unfortunately becoming an international crisis. So, and it's going to have a major impact, a negative impact in that region. So we are trying with our efforts to try to make any kind of impact. Hopefully, delay the problem or solve it. So I think after talking more on my share, I'll give to Mr. Shah.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Shah Moini. I'm a hydrologist from Iran. I work in different countries, international organization. My specialty is water and soil conservation. I teach at SAID in the engineering department. And maybe talk about the Bilbao Lake. As my friend mentioned, and if you have any questions regarding the theme and the lake, I will try to answer. I'm a speak right transfer.
My name is Jorg Ostrowski, and I'm a graduate architect. I have degrees in architecture from the University of Toronto and MIT. We've been doing ecological design for 36 years. Some big projects like Harbourfront, which had a lot to do with water and sun and wind. Smaller projects, all projects are environmentally sound. We live in a sustainable home, we work in a sustainable office. We don't use precious drinking water for our toilets. Our toilet is a composting toilet. It makes earth. After 40 years in this business, one of the things I've learned is that drinking water is far too precious to flush down.
The rate of loss, really.
When we look to the region, if you look to that region, close to the Urmia Lake, there is one lake in Turkey. There is a Sivan Lake in Armenia. It means that because there was a discussion that this is because of the global warming, and the question was, okay, the one lake is just 85 kilometers away from Urmia Lake, and they have a problem because the water is exceeding in one lake. They have a problem to remove water from that lake, which means that this impact is not because of the global warming. Mainly it is because of the diverting water for other use. For example, I used to work in Urmia Petrochemical Company. It was 15 years ago. They built a petrochemical company on the shore of the Urmia Lake. Where is the water source for petrochemical company? It is underground water. Practically, we are using underground water. We are diverting the water from a river which feeding the lake. Practically, we are closing all the input to the lake, and what is remaining is little. But 13 cubic meter per second for a lake, just for disappearing of the water, is a big number.
Can you just compare that with the flow rate of the rivers, 37 or 27 rivers that you said were flowing into the river and they're not? 37, maybe I'm mistaken, but maybe I have a geologist in common. 13 meter cube, and that was the net. You mentioned it's you calculate that rate based on the initial area and then now the current area.
Yes.
And so that is the net loss in fact. That sounds like a very small number.
Well, yeah, 13 cubic meter per second. And during the 10 years, we are talking about losing 2/3 of the lake, and this is what it is. The problem may be one thing that make it difficult to imagine, because this lake is shallow lake. It's not a deep lake. It's 6 meter is the depth of the lake, and because it is shallow, when it is losing the water, it practically we see that the lake is shrinking so fast. If it was deep, maybe we wouldn't see this much impact on the lake, but because the shallow lake is look like a more of the marsh more than the lake. In the south side is 6 meter deep, in the north side is 16 meter. That's the reason. If you look to the image, the north side is more sustainable than the south side, which is right now is just a salt deposit.
If you look at the lake in general, most of the inlet has been blocked because of the mismanagement of the water resources around the lake. And of course, still there is some impact of the global warming and climate changing on that region, the annual rain on that region, and in general, in Iran, decreased during last 10 years. And then there is very, very somehow wrong management of all the water resources of that region. If you look at the number of the farms and the field that has been developed in the last 20 years, it shows almost an increase of 300%. And most of these farms and all this development are using the irrigation system, groundwater, or they block all the rivers to feed the aggregation, the agriculture and agro project that they have. And as Mr. Arif mentioned, this lake is a shallow lake, and losing this amount of the water increased the temperature of the lake tremendously, which has the direct impact on the biology of the lake. And all these events together resulted to the crisis that we are facing right now.
And there's another problem too, because this is a salt lake. As the lake is shrinking, the salt concentration goes up. And as the salt concentration goes up, the heat capacity.
I'm not debating any of those. It was just that number of 13 sounded too small. So probably the number is much larger.
Well, maybe because the fact is that I communicate with Iranian authority, with the United Nations, with all authorities to get some number. What we are practically calculating is a rough number.
Perhaps I can add, like, as I mentioned, like, yeah, the Iranian authorities do not provide any numbers. We have collected them. I had actually a trip there. I think I've traveled to that region twice in the last 2 years, and I just went into visuals. The rivers are almost closed. So one of the two rivers close to the city of Myanmar is they're almost closed. I mean, you go there, and there is a huge dam behind the Maraga, Alavian Dam, and then they have blocked it, and they're not opening it at all. So I mean, if they, give the share of the lake. I mean, to be honest, there's no calculation whatsoever. You know, what is the inside, what's the input, what's the output. So we just work with the chance.
15 years ago, I was in Iran. I was taking the soil sample and water sample on that region. And 15 years ago, it was a very sensitive issue. And the company that I was working was directly contacted by the intelligence service that, what are you doing? So there is not really very scientific data available that we count on it. And for me, the number really doesn't matter, because it's not the question of kind of hydrology calculation. But what's going on does matter. And still, there is no solution for it.
So perhaps also kind of to complement. So I guess as part of the Lake-Urmia Conservation Institute, I guess we are a team of 10 people in the board of this institute, and we are actually we have got recently a good support letter from the NDP leader. I forgot his name. That is the leader of the opposition party in Canada. That's his name. So yeah, Thomas Kerr. And we are actually working with different media agencies and politicians to increase the awareness. So anybody who's interested to join us, to collaborate with us, contact us. And so we are, for example, we are planning a conference, so a Canada-wide or North America-wide conference on the issue. So I think it's just starting our efforts, and but there's lots to be done. Perhaps I can take that question. I mean, well, I will clarify as well. So there are different ethnic groups in that region. In terms of customs, I mean, even the music does not belong to the people around the region, but perhaps the music is more from the south of Iran, but it doesn't matter too much. The customs and clothes, I think, are pretty usual for that region, for the whole. I mean,
So this cruelty to their own people is zero.
cruelty.
Oh, no, that part is a very, that is just kind of the imaginary, illustration. Yeah, if you see, is a, in sense of sacrification, it just go back to that traditional legendary. The whole thing is kind of the legend. There is no community who do this kind of practice or this kind of tradition. And if you see at the end of the movie, the bride who was sent to the sea, to marry into the sea, or was sacrificed to the sea, she was alive. And the old man is a symbol of the traditions that we have. The tradition of water management, the tradition of respecting the land and the water, and washing the land, the tradition, the leg of tradition, the feet of tradition, and putting the tears back to the lake is a symbol. It's very, very symbolic that how we can keep this lake alive or bring the life back.
Can I just make a few comments on this? First of all, there is no doubt that the Iranian government has a good, some sort of abuse for any type of human right, child abuse, ethnic group right. But when it comes to this movie, in this movie mainly it is symbolizing how the environment crisis can change the society and has an impact on the even people's belief that they start believing in the superstitions, and that's a fact. I mean, if Lake-Urmia dries, it will dry up all the farm. If the farmer they lose their cattle, if they lose their farm, what will happen? We will see increase in the smuggling, increase in the number of thieves, increase in the number of the crime, and it is going to have a social impact. And some group of the people, they will start believing in the superstitions and sacrificing or finding that magic God somehow to help. And this is what we try to avoid. Actually, the director of the movie and the editor, Mr. Panahi, they were arrested. They were in prison for 1 year, both of them. And last year they got released from prison, but for 20 years they cannot have a media release. They cannot travel abroad. And that's one of the reasons that you see they are not clear on sending their message, and they try to utilize more of the symbolism. When they have the first time they broadcast the movie, I was reading the review, and lots of people, they have a difficulty with the symbolism. That was the reason we wanted to have first the presentation, to give a feedback or the background and why this movie is the crisis. And this movie will be on DVD from September.
And you can, for example, the painter is a symbol of the artist in Iran. When they see the reality of the society, the reality of what's going on in another color, it's not the color that the society is telling that you should see. This is blue, but he noticed is red, and the red, of course, is killing algae that's coming and covering the lake as well. And it's like the same killing mentality is killing the society and that democratic way of life in Iran. So it's forced to go through another color. No, you don't see this color.
It's 9 o'clock already. Thank you very much. Some of you have information booklets. Some can take them outside, and also link to the website where you can read more and can contact us. So the purpose of this movie and presentation tonight was to raise awareness and fight over achieving our goals. Thank you again very much, and have a nice day.